minute cameo. Those pay good.
Listen to me. Let me tell you, I had a rough night. I'll tell you about it when we're live.
All right, we're live. We're live right now.
Live? So anyway, guys, I would have tried to put myself together a little bit better. Oh my God. Let me just do this a little bit. Okay. But
I've got everything ready here too.
Okay. So what happened was all my dogs were throwing up last night. Like on my bench, on my chair, on my this. I was pretty much up all night. I have a big party to go to, a VIP opening of a restaurant where Barbie's doing the marketing. So I'm just like a little, I'm disheveled, but I'm okay. I made it. I'm a little disheveled.
Love it. I was like, are you okay? I'm texting you and I'm going, oh my God, because I know you were like excited. Last night you're like, I can't wait. We're gonna have so much fun.
Everything was set up. It was just, I go, oh my God, because it gives you that thing. It's ending in like 20 seconds. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm good.
Hey, Tracy.
I'm eating these little candies too. These are my little hauls because my allergies are acting up.
Blueberries. Oh my gosh. Well, let me get right into it so we can
get right into it.
Let's get in the mood here. So first and foremost, what I wanted to start off with, you guys, as always, just a quick reminder to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. And also remember that Kim D and I split the tips 50-50 on these videos and supers. Please do give, because first of all, we have to do a lot of extra work for this show that we would normally do. Second of all, we both need it because times are tight, as you well know, and especially for creators, because we're the first ones to get hit in a bad economy, along with all the people who have lost their jobs and whatever. Right. So, because people see us as expendable income, you know what I mean? So anyway, if you love me, do me a favor and give a donation today. Yeah. Okay, so first and foremost, let's start off really quick because we are going to cover quite a few things. I have a load of tea to share for this, but I want to start with Love Hotel. Have you seen it yet?
No, let me just tell you something. And I don't mean to diss the women that did it. I don't.
Did you see it though? You saw it, right?
No, but I don't like dating shows. Hi, everyone. Watching from California, visiting my family back to Maine. Okay, I love Maine.
Sorry.
With that said, you couldn't pay me enough to be on a dating show. Like, I think The Bachelor is degrading. All these shows to me are very degrading. It's not my cup of tea. I've spoken to a couple of the Jersey girls. They're like, no, we wouldn't do it either. You know, it's just me. You know, do you need me to?
No.
Okay. So I would never do the show, and I just wouldn't do it. So I will watch some of it because
Can I tell you the problem? So you know, okay, this is the problem. Patrons know I feel this way. And I want to say hi to Thailand in the room. Wow, Dave, thank you for joining from Thailand. I went to Thailand for 2 months, and I actually went into one of the abandoned pool parties with foam and went in on all my clothes and danced in foam. I was there for Millennium New Year's, just saying. All right.
Oh my God. Yeah. Danawilkey.
It was fun. All right. So what I was going to tell you is that the big fail on the show is the men. Okay. Because I was expecting like at least 3 or 4 candidates that would be really good for the women, each one, because we only have 4 women.
4.
So I'm thinking we need to have loads of candidates,
right?
So that they're fighting over the men, because that's the fun part, right? Like to see maybe an older guy going for Ashley, but she's really perfect for, Giselle. And we're like, damn, that could go either way, right? Or there's a bunch of hot young guys that maybe one of the older women would be like, oh, you know what? Screw these old guys with money. I'm going for the young guy. We ended up with all the men being nobody I would even go for. You know what I'm saying? Ever. Right. And there's no hook. There's not well, Joe is a politician and you could become the head of a government.
Joe the politician and Brian the lawyer and the doctor are not going to be on these shows.
Well,
And
they need to cast longer then, because there's no dating show otherwise.
they're also not going to be at the bar at 9, 10 o'clock. They are at a bar, maybe, or a good fine restaurant at 6, coming home from work, stopping for a drink. These women don't understand the kind of men that you want are not at these. Hi, Clarissa
Thank
Brown.
you. Here's some coffee money. We need it, Clarissa.
We love coffee.
We love coffee.
Love
Coffee talk. Coffee.
So listen to me. You don't go to places late at night or even 9 o'clock to find the man of your dreams. He's not out. He's home. He worked all day. He went for a drink and a fine glass of wine and his dinner, and he's home already. Just like, listen, my ass is in bed by probably 8:30. I go to sleep.
I mean, you got to cast longer, then there's no show. So like your show has to have, a guy who's inspirational and you're like, oh, he's 60 plus years old and worth $1 million, or he's, the most amazing philanthropist, or like, give us some, hook with the men so we could see the women getting excited about it.
Right.
What looks like it happened is the men fall short. The women aren't into them like we aren't, the audience.
Right.
And then they have to get everybody boozed up to do anything because they don't want to do it. And usually on dating shows, they don't do a lot of boozing. And on this one, they are.
Yeah.
They are. Yeah. And it was weird. Like there was a scene even on the first show. You guys tell me if you've seen this, but Luann Dlesup, I never say her name right, but Countess Luann. Yeah. Dlesup. She is with one of these old guys and she's like, well, we didn't really have a lot in common. She's on the first date, but guess what she does? It's like she starts walking down the beach with him and then she goes, oh, let's just forget this. And leaves. And I think from the way that it was edited, it looks like she was acting for camera to go down the beach. And then she just was like, this is stupid. I'm out because I don't like this guy. And they used it in the show. I don't know why, break fourth wall or like, I don't know, but it made me go, wow, like she was really mean, even like not even elegant. Like she was
right. Bizarre. And you know what? Luann's is sweet. Like Teresa and I were just talking about Luann. Teresa said that she did girls vacation or whatever it's called. And
Ultimate Girls Trip or different?
Ultimate Girls Trip with Luann. Yeah. And they got along great. And she said that her and Luann worked out together, and Luann has a more European way of looking at things, like maybe skinny dipping and all that kind of stuff. And I said, the first time I met Luann, I adored her. I was at the plaza.
When you say European, do you mean like swinging?
Well, I mean, they're not ashamed of their nakedness.
Okay. I was like, what do you mean by that?
Well, because, American women don't walk around. Well, they do now. They didn't before. They do now walk around half naked. They're just basically covered, which that's not my gig. I don't like it. I don't go for it. I don't care at any age. But so she's more European, and that's what Teresa and I were discussing. And the first time I met her, she was dating Tom, and they were at the plaza. And I was having my Christmas thing with my girls, my posh girls. And we were all up in the champagne room. And so you have to walk up the stairs to go to the ladies' room. So when I walked past her at the little bar in the plaza, if anybody's ever been there, she was sitting there with Tom. And I'm like, hi, Luann. Hi, she knew me and I knew her, kind of. We had never met before, but a couple of the girls wanted to take a picture with her. She goes, of course, we take pictures. Then she wanted to be with us. Comes walking up the stairs and she's telling us this dirty, dirty, dirty joke. We're like, oh, look at me. And we're not like prudes when it comes, but we're like, me and Emma, my friends was like, oh my God. And he's trying to pull her away. And she's like, I want to stay. It was really cute. And then since then, I've run into her at all the Giovanni parties. She's a hoot. She's a lot of fun. And the other time, remember when I went to see her at 54 and Andy was Tracy, Kim D's here, Kim D. And you see that. Wow. Hi, Tracy. Thank you.
Hi, Tracy. Give us all the tea. I will. We will.
So I'm giving you some inside scoop.
Yep.
So that was when she was with Tom.
Mm-hmm.
And then I knew that wasn't going to work out. And he was like pulling her away. And she's like, no, I'm going to stay to hang out with the girls. We had a great time with her.
What was he like? Did you talk to him at all?
Oh, he was disgusting. He was disgusting. He was nasty, thought who he was. And she was just all love and light, wanting to be with us and wanting to party. Then I go to see her at 54 below. Andy Cohen's sitting behind me. And we all go upstairs to the green room. And we're all taking pictures. And Andy's like, me and Andy were like all over each other, like, blah, 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 blah. And she kept trying to like intercept. And he's doing this thing, which I have the video. Kim D's here. Kim, and she's trying to whisper in the ear. He's like, it was so funny. But yeah, I like her a lot. I like her a lot.
That's cool. That's really cool.
She's a hoot. Luann's a hoot. And, you know, I think at one point, maybe a little prudish when she was with her husband. But man, she's come a long way.
Well, Andy said that she's a trip. He referred to her as a trip a few times regarding dating, which was interesting. Maybe sexual stuff too. Who knows?
Right. Well, pirate.
Yeah. So, you know, and I don't think she's sober anymore, or ever was, but that's a sidebar. But I wish her well. You know, she knows what she's doing.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just felt like, this show was going to struggle because the men weren't great picks or whatever. Now she did say Tom had a ton of money, which a lot of people didn't think he did.
Oh,
she said that on the Love Hotel episode 1. She was like, yeah, he was really, really rich. I think she said it on that. Yeah.
You know, let me tell you, do you think, you know, all these Atlanta women that are all married to these losers and all these people, they all seem to be rich when they marry them, but then all of a sudden they show up not to be rich.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I guess Luann is still standing by that. Now, last I heard, you know, Tom married that really wealthy woman out of Palm Beach. So he married another really rich lady. And he was hanging out at the Breakers. Like, you know, they have a club that's like open to the public, or you can be, you know, a member, or you can stay in the hotel.
Yeah.
So he was hanging out there every day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So he loves hotels, obviously.
I loved it. I used to live there for months at a time when Michael was doing his thing there.
Oh my God. Breakers.
I mean, I say lived there for months. So he used to fly my friends in. It was, such a
my God. Why aren't we back in those days, Kim?
I know. Travel now anyway. It's really funny. What my God, before I had like a lot of help in the house with the animals. I'm not leaving my dogs. I have to, it would be a very important. It would have to be for money. You know what I mean? I'd have to,
no, but
somebody would have to pay me.
I mean, we just need a nanny for the dogs is what we really need. And if we have a guy putting us up at the Breakers, that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, we'll get a couple nannies. We'll get a couple nannies.
All right. I got a little tea I can share with you about Salt Lake, even though that's not on the thumbnail, just real fast. Did you hear the rumor that Meredith Marks and Brittany, the new girl on Salt Lake, the friend of girl, that's dating an Osmond, who really is the reason.
I know who she is.
Yeah. So supposedly a video went viral that she had a huge fight with Meredith.
Yes.
And that she got suspended from.
I thought Meredith got suspended.
Yeah.
Right.
Meredith got suspended. Right. But it's not true.
It's not true. I didn't think so.
Yeah.
So this doesn't seem like she's going that far.
No. So I just want to say somebody definitely must have put this in someone's ear to get out there, and it's fake. So the whole thing is fake. You know,
there's so much fake news. I want to also, you know, I don't talk about Teresa too much, but I did bring her up just before. So we had a long conversation yesterday about, there was something in the news. Joe Giudice had come out. Tom's parents were rich. Didn't they live in his parents' apartment? Didn't he live in his, maybe. Okay, Karen.
Well, it makes sense. Yeah.
Thank you for the scoop. We like that.
Love that.
So there was what was the name of the
Scotland in the house. Scotland in the house. We're very European.
Love New Jersey.
We love Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Real Housewives love New Jersey, or something like that. So anyway, I send it to Barbie. Of course, she does her investigation. It's some blogger who's looking for clickbait. Joe Giudice never spoke out about Hollywood Demons. Never said that. He never said.
Oh, yeah. I know the account you're talking about. And they keep putting lies out, like absolutely crazy lies.
Crazy
like
lies.
Richard's daughter is trying to like join forces with Morgan over money and like all this.
I went right to the source. I snapshot. I said, Teresa, she texts Joe while we're on the phone. Did you say this? And he goes, no. I never said it, never will, blah, blah, blah. So not true. Joe Giudice did not say that what the people had said. He did not watch Hollywood Demons, didn't even know what they said, didn't care, and wasn't going to make a statement about it. So, yeah, because it's all over. Joe Giudice said Teresa didn't do this, Teresa didn't do that. He never said anything.
That account does that a lot.
All the time. It's clickbait. They make, by the way, guys, when you see things like that, that's called clickbait, and they make money off of that. Every time you click it to read it, they make money.
So crazy.
Yeah, but I went right to the source.
I hate being hustled. Yeah. Hey, Peaches.
Hi, Peaches.
Good, love. Thank you for the super sticker. Woo-woo. She's like a journalist, reporter, secret.
Ooh, Peaches. Well, you got the first hand from Joe Giudice. It's all good. Yeah. Also, did you watch Hollywood Demons?
Well, as you know, I was on Hollywood Demons actually in a few of the clips with the black card.
Yes, you were good friends with Taylor Armstrong.
Oh, yes. And I actually want to answer your questions. If you know,
she was being beaten. Did you know that at the time?
Season 2 of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It's not as black and white as all that, really. What happened was she was constantly talking about abuse with Russell behind the scenes, and she didn't want it to come out on the show. So she told me that if I said anything about it on the show, that he would kill her and her daughter.
Yeah.
And Camille knew that.
Right.
It still outed it on the show anyway. Just saying.
I think Camille was wrong, but it was the best thing that could have ever happened.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And
bold move.
I mean, you know, I don't know if I'd call it bold, but it was something for sure. It was definitely, you know, at that point, I think she really wanted to be on the show. And she was going to bring it, you know, she was going to throw anybody under the bus at that time. You know, let's face it, Camille was considered the most hated housewife in season 1, was on the cover of, and she was upset. And she was really upset about that. Like, don't kid yourself. Like, I had many conversations. The producers are out to get me. They're giving me the worst edit. What the hell is going on? They create paranoia amongst the cast members. So you want to hurt each other. Anywho, it is what it is.
Well, I one question, and then we can go forward.
Yeah.
Part of Hollywood Demons that I didn't understand. Maybe you can help me understand this.
Wait, I want to finish that though.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. So what I want to say is that, you know, the women at the time, because of the producers, I think also, I'm going to say also, there were some camps of the women that didn't believe Taylor. And there were, actually most of them didn't. And so the producers decided that they were going to have like a conversation on the show, believe it or not, about whether or not this was really happening. Okay. Now, Taylor told them in casting, as I understand it, that she was being abused. So she knew that he was going to be outed on the show. And that was, I think, one of the reasons they casted her. And I think she saw it as a way to get out. And I was the only one actually on the show that stood up for Taylor, although publicly she says Lisa Vanderpump did. And she's gone on this narrative for a long time.
Okay.
But that is inaccurate. That wasn't true. And in actuality, the only person who had her back was me.
Okay.
Which, you know, my character, you know how I am.
Absolutely.
So I was like, they were like, you know, you need to out her. If you don't out her, you know, there's a problem, right? Like, you know, the heat you feel. And I was like, I can't do it. And then they were like, you know, I mean, it was just such a horrible circumstance. They were like trying to make it like she wasn't telling the truth. And I'm like screaming.
That's disgusting.
In every scene that I could get it out. I'm in the background, like, she's you know, if she says it happened, it happened. If she says it happened, it happened. And they actually went as far. If you go watch season 2 again, you'll see they downplay me, but you can hear me in the background screaming it towards the end of the season.
Wow.
And they turn my volume down on my mic. So I'm
believe
like literally way over here yelling, and I'm on a table like this. They don't even show it.
God. That's crazy.
Well,
but
yeah.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
There was that.
These producers were ruthless.
Oh yeah. But I mean, what a stupid angle. Like, what a dumb angle to have that be the conversation point. Anyway,
so real quick, she says in the interview that at one point when she was speaking to her friends, husband and wife, she was in the backyard, and Russell was listening. They thought Russell left, and he was there. He comes running in. He knocks the guy's teeth down, all his teeth out, and he tries to drown Taylor. Why didn't anything come of that? Why did the guy who he knocked?
So you're getting to an issue that I see everybody talking about over here on the right. And I do want to say this. It was hard to know what was really happening with physical abuse with Taylor. Because, you know, we see the medical picture, which he released at the time of like, you know, the eyeball where he punches her in the eye. You know, I was not privy to that. Some people say that they saw her black eye on the show, like covered with makeup.
Yeah, they show, and they said they had to postpone the reunion. So
there was like that stuff with that. I was not privy, although very close to Taylor, seeing her all the time, to that. Okay. She never came over and was like, I got hit, or let me show you. Oh my God, this happened just now. She would come over and talk about trying to get out. And I would say, you can stay with me anytime. I've got a ginormous mansion. You can just move into one of the rooms, no problem. But I never got that, you know, here's the physical element of it. I took her at her word. When a woman tells me she's being abused, I just believe her, you know, like, yeah. But I never saw the physical abuse that's described in her book or in that.
And you didn't hear at the time about the guy who got his teeth knocked out.
And I never heard that. No, I never heard that story. And I knew a lot of the same people as Taylor Armstrong, which was kind of shocking to me that I didn't hear that. Yeah. The story that we're hearing on Hollywood Demons is,
she said it herself,
is not accurate to the time of what really happened.
She said it. She said the story about the pool.
No, I know. I'm saying the things in the whole show is not true. So like there are huge elements of that show that are just total bullshit. Okay. Like, for example, Taylor wasn't not working, or she was like a dummy in the middle of all of it. I can read you a passage actually from Bob Lorsch's publicist from the time. Bob Lorsch was the person who sued Taylor Armstrong for $1.5 million for breaching a settlement that Russell and her signed related to a company that he built a website for and helped raise money for alongside Taylor, allegedly, and Russell Armstrong. So that's why she was included in the lawsuit for $1.5 million, because she had signed the settlement agreement as well. Bob Lorsch was a big guy in LA Beverly Hills. He lived in a mansion that looked like the White House. He was into young women, like hot chicks. He was very unattractive. No offense, Bob. I think he's dead now, but God bless him. But he later got married, was completely dedicated to his wife. Amazing. Like this was early years, but he had this ginormous estate. I mean, he screamed money. And he had as I remembered, his money was communication cards, those phone cards. Okay. So everybody knew Bob Lorsch. And I guess Bob agreed to build this medical records website for Russell. And, they did like some clever stock maneuvers around that. And Russell put $1 million in. So he believed he was, the real deal. Plus, Russell was in a club called Tiger 21. Tiger 21 is supposed to be for guys that are over 10 million in value. And you have to prove it to a degree. Now, he wasn't worth 10 million. So I don't understand how the hell he got into Tiger 21, but he was able to put on the facade he was, obviously.
Okay.
And so anyway, I'm sure all of these optics were what made Bob Lorsch think this was all, amazing. But I guess what happened was, Russell went out and pitched a bunch of people. And I guess Taylor somehow, with the Ford name, which people believe she was part of the Ford family,
Right.
They believed that there was a lot more behind this than there really was.
Right.
So Russell ends up bringing in investors, and Bob Lorsch finds out about it, and he's all about his good name.
Yeah.
So he flips out because he's like, oh my God, this whole thing is smoke and mirrors. Like, I have this website. He can't do what he's supposed to do. Like, it's falling apart. Right. And allegedly Russell sold shares in another company that he wasn't supposed to raise money.
One thing after another. Yeah, he was spiraling financially.
Well, he had also had troubles in the past with other civil litigations to do with fraud in 2000 and 2003. So, that had all been buried, and he needed this deal to go through because Bob was a gateway to a lot of really wealthy, powerful people. So anyway, I think what happened was, he started being clever with the shares and how he was raising capital, but he breached his fiduciary duty and spent the money incorrectly.
Okay.
Now, where it hits the fan, and for Taylor Armstrong and him, is that Bob finds out about the show and the spending of the money and all this stuff. And
$6,000 on a birthday party.
Right, which I threw. And that was me who did it. And I'm actually
$60,000 girl, you. I love it, Dana.
I'm always related to capital somehow, right?
I'm telling you.
Did you know 60K? Did you know 25K? Did you know? Okay. So, yeah. So anyway, you can actually see me. I'm pregnant with brown hair in season 1, and you won't recognize me. I look completely different than season 2. But there I am, and they say danawilkey, and she does a whole thing about how I do the Grammy parties and all this shit. Anyway, so the thing is that he does this bad thing. So Bob says, "Listen, I want to be fair. You did bring some things into the table, so I want to get you out of the project totally." And I want you to sign a settlement agreement with Taylor Armstrong. And it said in this agreement that they had to disclose all the investors in the company. Now, this is where it gets fishy.
Okay.
They don't disclose all the people.
Okay.
And there's a penalty if you don't in the settlement agreement. So he breaches it because they're demanding everyone who invested through them, and they won't turn it over for some reason.
Okay.
And then 3 people come out of the, the depths of the earth, and they're like, we're investors. And so they breach it. And Bob's like, you breached the settlement agreement. You owe us $1.5 million for breaching it. You and Taylor. That is what Taylor settles using her attorney, who later becomes her husband.
Wow.
And he settles it by giving her wedding ring over, plus her designer bags that they could liquidate. And he settles it on that basis. Russell at this point is dead, because when this lawsuit is filed by Bob Lorsch within days, it starts and it's not so bad, and then he dies, and then
gotcha. So do you think fast forward that he really did commit suicide and the other guy really shot himself when he found out because of all this? Or do you think don't you think it's ironic that Russell hangs himself and then the gentleman comes over with his wife and they say, do you think it's because of the show, the wife, and Taylor says, I don't know, and the guy drives to Mulholland Drive near where Russell kills himself and shoots himself? You don't think that's sus?
Well, I have some thoughts about that. At the time, there was something not said on the show that was happening.
Okay.
Which was, my understanding was that Russell was on antidepressants.
Right.
And he did not get his antidepressants on that Friday or Thursday before he passes away. which is, I guess, some sort of red flag.
Mm-hmm.
And I recall this. This is from my recollection of the time.
So could have been a choice. I don't need them.
And I think that potentially during that weekend, Russell didn't take his medicine, and he may have, because you have to talk to a doctor when you're coming off your antidepressants, or you could become suicidal. It's a thing.
Yeah.
So, you have to be really careful how you do it. And I don't know if he just stopped.
I think he stopped because he knew what he was going to do.
Well, or he stopped, or he stopped, and the chemicals in the antidepressant can make you fall into the depths of despair if suddenly you stop. Yeah. They alter your mood. They're mood altering drugs. They're pharmaceuticals, but they're still mood altering. Yes. So if you crash and burn off your depressants, you could easily go into the depths of despair, and your perception of everything is like the world's ending.
Yes.
And you do something rash because you're not in your right mind.
Right.
So the next day, all the rest of the crap is accurate. What happens, Taylor's a wreck and this and that. Okay. So, but leading up to this moment, it's, important to note that I had sat down with Russell and Taylor one night, and I had said to them, why don't you guys, Russell said, I don't want to break up with my family. And all this stuff is going to come out about abuse and this and that and money and problems. And the show is ruining my life. Like, it's ruining my ability to raise money. I'm a venture capitalist.
If he was really abusing her the way he did, he choked her, he hit her, he had everything tapped in the house. If that was all going on, yeah, of course he doesn't want people to know.
I never sensed any tapping of the house. I never was told that there was tape recorders when we were doing stuff. I never, you would think, me, Kim, would you not be with me, be the first person you'd be like, Dana, shut the there's I in particular have zero filter. Okay. I'm going to say
this is what I'm getting from you.
This is why I'm not a good housewife, you guys. You would know the plot of the show in the first 30 seconds of episode 1.
Are you alluding to the fact that some of this you feel is was dramatized? Was it made up?
I don't know what the story to me was like a complete, it was like
but
some retelling of history is what I call it.
She did have a broken socket in her eye.
I don't know. I didn't see any of it. I know she has a medical record to show it. I'm not questioning it. I'm just saying.
And she needed surgery.
I'm sure.
Okay.
I never heard it. I never saw it.
Broke her socket if it wasn't him. You know what I mean? He said it was an actual.
Her and I dropped off a care package after he passed. I went to his funeral, and I never heard from Taylor again.
Right.
Even though we were real friends for, 2 or 3 years leading up to Housewives, to a good friend of ours, which, I won't say her name, but I love her still to this day. But no, it was just, the whole thing is very unusual. All I can do is I can't interpret. I can only tell you guys my feeling and what I remember.
Yeah, but you said that you thought she was being abused. The producers were saying they didn't believe it.
Yeah.
But are you saying, yes, she was, no, she wasn't, or she wasn't as abused as she said she was?
It's not black and white. So
I think abuse is abuse.
It's not black and white. Everybody wants to make it like a switch. It isn't. Okay. So let me give you an example. Just, how abusive situations are confusing. So for example, Russell and I I'll finish that story, and with Taylor, and he's like, this is coming out. I'm a VC. It's going to screw my life up. How am I going to raise money? Blah, blah. Right. And I said to him, listen, why don't you guys break up, separate, and tell the press you're over? They'll pick up on it right away. Then they'll stop focusing on you, Russell. They'll focus on Taylor's new beginnings. Because remember, you guys, I ran an ad agency publicity firm, .com agency for a gazillion years. So I'm telling him, and then they'll look over here, and it won't be as bad. And you know what he told me? He said, I will never lose my family over this show. I will never have my wife
he seems
fall
like
apart.
A psycho narcissist. I'm sorry.
He was like, no, but that's what I'm telling you, he said. So,
Just
I mean,
like he told her, if you leave me, I will swarm you in legal papers and you won't get a dime and I'll take Kennedy away from you and you'll be on the street. I believe every word of it. And I believe he abused the shit out of her. And I believe that she was showing the recorder that was underneath. But a lot of these people, I know people right now that are being abused that don't want anyone to know and they're going to take it. It's not physical, but verbal. Okay. I believe every word she says. And I believe that this is what I also believe. I also believe the gray area here is what certain people believe is acceptable and what certain people don't. Do not put your effing hands on me. Don't talk mean to me. Don't put me down. Don't call me a name or don't let the door hit you in the ass. All of it is unacceptable, Dana, to me. All of it. Never mind let me just go this far. If I found a wire or a recorder in my home where I lived with my husband, I knew he was doing it, I would take that fucking wire and wrap it around his neck. Okay? Unacceptable. Unacceptable. So
I get it.
You're coming from, Dana.
But hold on. You got to remember, I can only speak to what I witnessed.
I agree to disagree on this one big time because it's
no. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm the one who stuck up for her. What I'm saying is that I never saw firsthand physical abuse on Taylor. So hold.
Okay.
Since he's dead, okay, I can't say, hey guys, it's definitive. I saw it with my own eyes. She came over to my house at midnight and I was crying and there it was. None of that. I can only say what my experience was regarding this with the show and her and my interaction with Russell, because I knew him and I knew him before I knew Taylor, just saying, went to his house for parties. And, what she told me, which you saw me say, if she said it, then it happened.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go off on a trajectory where I'm going to say this for sure is this way and that for sure is that way with somebody who was implicated in, saying her name was Ford, even though on the show she made up a whole different, she's a fan of Tom Ford's.
Never heard that story before. I believe she's shady.
But I'm saying I can't believe it all on face value on that basis. I can only tell you guys what I know. Like, where's my value? It's that I was there and this is what I saw, right? It's hard for me to give an opinion, right? But now I want to say something before we move off on this, just really quick.
Go ahead.
All right. So the murder, right? There's maybe a murder that happened with Russell is what everybody.
I don't think he murdered. I think he killed himself. I think sus is when the guy left and shot himself. That's what I think is sus. Yeah, that guy.
Yes. So I have a theory on this. My theory is either there was some relationship where the guy from Tiger 21 referred people to Russell and he realized that maybe, all of his people lost money that he referred, possible.
Yes.
Because Tiger 21 is a networking group to help each other raise money and do things together like that and mentor each other, etc. But I also think he could have been inspired by it. And so the guy had a problem on his own that was totally separate. And it also could be that he just was inspired by that moment because he had something that, nobody knew was going on.
Yeah. Because
it does happen quite a bit. And in LA, a lot of the men define themselves through their wealth.
Power and money.
Correct. So if, they don't want the public disaster. In fact, it's a theme on the new White Lotus, right? Where the whole show is about this guy for like the week grappling whether he should kill himself, then kill his family.
I haven't watched it, but I heard it's very good.
Yeah, but it's based on the fact that he's getting indicted and he doesn't know how he's going to face the people at the club.
Yes. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Thank you, Catherine.
Hi, Catherine. Thank you so much.
I just want to get into women's empowerment for a minute here. I want to go back to Camille for a minute. Okay.
Yeah.
The way Camille said that when she was on that couch and the way she's looking at Taylor and saying those things, it's not that she brought it up. It's not that she brought it up. It's the way she threatened her with it. It was almost like, you're lying. You just don't want it to, like, I was blown away. Like, this girl's scared. Like, I believe she was scared for her life. I believe she was scared for her daughter. I believe this
was. That scene was real. When Taylor said, now this part is real. You guys, so you know, I went through every scene in the Patreon in detail, and I take you through what's real, in my opinion, from what I experienced to what isn't real. Okay. And I go through it and I tell you. So like we're doing like a very generalized blah, blah about this. Okay. But that was real. Taylor flipped out after it.
Yes, she was
really thought she was going to be killed by Russell at the end. Yeah.
He's going to kill me.
Yeah. That was real. That whole thing when she looks at the producer, that's real.
Well,
that I heard about it.
Looked at the producer because I think they tapped Camille on the back and said, "You want to stay? Bring it up because we know what's happening." Or
100%. Not even 90. Wow. 100. Yeah. 100. Because that's why I really got fired. The truth is I got fired. Number one, because my ex wouldn't sign the release after he filmed a bunch of shit and they were interested in his like wacky ass, to like destroy him, right? Which I wish they had. But he wouldn't sign. Now we thought he didn't sign because he didn't want to be on reality TV. He didn't sign because he was cheating on me and he had a double life in another place. So that's that. Number two, I got fired because I wouldn't out Taylor on her abuse, which is what they really had in mind for me during this period of time.
What a disgrace.
That's it. I don't know what else to tell you. Hi, Maddie. Thank you so much. Oh, I love it. Yay.
Yeah, you know what? I'm watching. You know what freaked me out? And I remember when this happened, the first episode with the guy from Seventh Heaven, the actor. The fact that there is a statute of limitations with his situation, when they have him on tape admitting what he did. 1 minute. Barbie's just leaving the room for a second. Don't come down. All right, calm down. Calm down. Oh my God. So he's admitting this. He's saying it was a 10-year-old. He's saying it was a 13-year-old. But and he admitted it. And you see, and the wife freaks out and stops the tape and leaves him. I cannot believe that he walks around free.
No, it's crazy. All right. Well, listen, let me just, we're going to move on to Porsha in a second here, because I see some of the fans want me to talk about that. So we will.
I don't know what happened.
I do want to leave this one thought with you guys really fast, if you don't mind. This is from July 31st, 2011. All right. Ready? This is the part I want to read to you. Quotes from the TV show. This was like a press release that I think Bob Lorsch released at the time. My husband is a venture capitalist and he's richer than Texas. This is Taylor. Don't leave much room for imagination about how Taylor feels about money and how proud she is to have it, or at least appear to have it. From a business standpoint, Miss Armstrong holds herself out to be a partner in Patchy Chocolate USA, a founding shareholder of FamilyFilter.com, and a director of Crescent Financial Partners. Now, do you remember what she said on the show? She was like, I barely work. I wasn't working. I don't have any working.
The garment industry, and he didn't like her traveling back and forth.
Right. Does that sound like anything in there? Patchy Chocolate, ring a bell, any of that shit? No. Crescent Financial? Right. Okay. Just, because I am a girl's girl. I'm just,
We're away from the abuse. Now we're talking about her bullshit. Okay.
Well, there lies the hard part in all this, right? So Russell Armstrong's background is not without successes, but the positive is unfortunately clouded by shady dealings that have landed the man in trouble of many shapes and forms, including lawsuits and bankruptcy. On the whole, Armstrong is widely regarded as an incredible businessman with many high-profile associates, but actions in 2000 left Russell being named in a lawsuit for fraudulent misrepresentations when he was the largest shareholder in Sunburst Acquisition 3 and president and senior managing partner of Century Financial Partners, Inc. A 2003 lawsuit was filed against Armstrong as well as other defendants claiming securities fraud, breach of fiduciary duty, and unfair business practices, among other allegations.
Unbelievable.
Okay? So I'm just saying, like, this isn't as like, you know,
it isn't
cookies
cut
and
and dry.
cream as everybody's making it out to be.
Yeah. It isn't cut and dry.
And then I want one more thing, just really quick, just because of what we talked about.
Okay.
What soon followed was what appears to be Armstrong's modus operandi for getting himself into trouble. New Way, Taylor Armstrong, and associates embarked on a path of self-dealing at the expense of the non-public MyMedicalRecords.com. Did you hear that?
No.
Taylor Armstrong, right?
No.
Okay. MyMedicalRecords.com contends that Taylor contributed to the plan to sell shares of New Way, which would eventually be converted to shares of MMRF, the medical company.
Gotcha.
Through in part the use of the prowess of the Ford name to imply that her family members were major investors in MMRG Global. Total collections from the practices tallied more than 1 million, of which the Armstrong-controlled MyMedicalRecords.com did not receive a penny.
Wow.
Where did the money go? It is alleged, with portions of the allegation proven, to have been spent on the Armstrongs' lavish lifestyle, including redecorating their mansion and a business endeavor involving a restaurant with Ava Longoria. I remember that. I knew her
Yes,
manager.
I do too. Yes.
Her manager was my friend's husband.
She happens to look gorgeous lately, Ava Longoria.
I thought she looked fab on Watch What Happens Live. In plain speak, if the allegations are true, the Armstrongs were inappropriately raising the capital. The Armstrongs. The Armstrongs were inappropriately raising the capital and funneling it into their own life, unbeknownst to Bob Lorsch, MMRG Global, and certainly the people making the investment.
Right. I'm
That part of the story was not in it.
I get that. Yes, I do. And that should have been in there because they were talking about other people's fraudulent situations. They should have been in there. Wow.
So it's just, my point is, like, this is the difficulty in this. This is why I can't just give you that black and white that you're looking for.
So it's not black and white abuse. It's the black and white of her word because there's a lot of lies in between.
And that's what's difficult when someone's in this situation, right? Okay.
I get it.
So there it is.
There you go.
All right. So now we're going to move on. Let's talk about Porsha. You want to talk about Porsha?
I would love
Porsha.
Porsha. I'm going to F your husband, honey. Wouldn't be the first time, right? Didn't she steal the other guy from Simon from the wife? Didn't she meet? She met her last time.
Saved her from Simon Gubadia.
Yeah. Isn't she his sixth or seventh wife? I mean, you got to be kidding me. These men, Portia's husband, Simon, she is either his sixth wife or his seventh wife.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Simon Gubadia.
I mean, could you imagine if, like, I met a guy and he says he was married 5 times? I'm like, I don't think so. I just don't think you're the right one for me.
And, you know, I didn't know how many times he was married. I just knew that he was with Phelan and then and Porsha poached him, but he was cheating with strippers at the same time he was dating Porsha. Yeah. Like,
he's no looker. Ugh.
Well, it's the money.
Yeah.
It's the money, right? So, and he's definitely a con man. Yeah. I mean, period. So
but they all marry con men. Almost all of them. They're all being taken for their money. All of them. Cynthia got 2 of them. What's her face? Apollo went to jail. Kelly's husband's taking her money. The other one, Drew. Look at her husband. I mean, what? Where did?
Well, each of them have their unique story.
My people are like, my girls are Dickless Tracy's. They will get your scoop before you go on a date. Thank you, Ivory Tower.
Andrew, thanks, honey.
Yeah, before any of these girls go on a date, just DM me. I'll give you the full information on that person. Are you girls out of your mind, you women marrying these men?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's crazy. Right. Well, so the thing is that Portia's been going on her YouTube channel. She started a YouTube channel to try to have a voice. Now, initially, she dropped some really good tea about season 16. But then I think Bravo PR called and said, I don't think so. And because she kept saying on the first one, like, I don't know if I'm, if I can say this or, whatever. And so we know how they operate. So they call and they say, listen, we'd prefer if you wouldn't talk about the season or, any behind the scenes tea or whatever. So they get like less and less juicy as she goes. But I promised I would be watching like, the 1 hour of bullshit to find the 3 minutes of awesome.
Gotcha.
So there was a baby daddy confessional part 2 that she did with Dennis.
Okay.
So here's what came out of that. I thought I'd share it with you guys. Okay, ready? So they have what she said that was juicy was that, first of all, her and Dennis are in a good place following the drama that we saw on the show. And they call their co-parenting the PJ unit. Okay. Which is because everything's really centered around the daughter that they have together. She said that her friendship with him is inconsistent. So although they co-parent well, they have a lot of inconsistencies of like their actual friendship.
Okay.
And she said that when they fight, they actually involve both their parents. The moms get involved.
And he drags her mom. Yeah.
And they are the ones that negotiate on behalf of Porsha and Dennis. So real trouble in Porsha's and Dennis's world, we will see the moms brought in, or it's just kind of bullshit, right? So just remember that.
Right.
She talked about her engagement. I guess he had asked her twice or something. They've had a really rocky relationship. As you know, in one case, he hires Little Mo and asks Porsha, because she likes the music of Little Mo, who comes in and does it, and he pays her and all this stuff. But they end up fighting.
Right.
And Little Mo is like, stop fighting. And she's like, because she's just getting engaged. Yeah. Okay. And then they talk about their breakup story, which I liked. The detail. So what they said was that Porsha, I guess they break up because of infidelity, but it happens around her pregnancy. And so she's so angry from the fact that he cheated on her, probably during this kind of vulnerable period of time, that she was so mad at him that when they got back together and tried to make it work, she was constantly mean to him because she couldn't let it go that she hated the betrayal so bad. And so she apologized to him for being mean all the time. And he, didn't apologize for the infidelity, but he said it meant a lot to him. Okay. They don't have sex anymore, although they flirt.
Okay.
And the reason he doesn't want to do that is because Portia's going off with other men.
Right.
But I think he's down for it if Porsha was.
Yeah, of course. And the whole thing with Porsha and Drew is because Porsha still wants to be with Dennis deep down, and she was jealous because she thought maybe Drew was doing something with him. She still wants him for herself. That's my opinion.
She thinks after doing a deep dive of all of that was a made up storyline by Drew and Dennis so that they would have something to promote her music with that Dennis is doing with her.
And I think there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm going to tell you why. If Dennis does good financially, he gives money to the daughter. It's a no-brainer.
So anyway, Porsha called that cringe, but I guess, it is what it is, right? She said that a weird thing. Now, this is important, you guys. This I really liked. Simon asked Dennis when he ran into him at the airport before Porsha was dating Sam. I always say Sam because his fraud name was supposed to be Sam. Simon. So Simon runs into Dennis at the airport before Portia's with him. And he asks Dennis about Porsha. So Dennis had been broken up with Porsha for 11 months. So Simon was trying to get to Porsha before he gets Porsha. He's hunting her.
Wow.
Yeah. Now think about it. That reminds me of somebody else.
Oh, I'm not saying.
Yeah, I know you're not saying anything. But yeah, so he's hunting. And then, you know, he then pursues Porsha after this. But that was a really interesting little tea that, like, imagine going actively.
Men love to hunt. Men love to hunt. And what women don't understand is when you make it easy for them, they get tired of you. They want to hunt for the rest of their lives. They want to hunt you down. They want to continue to hunt you. The more I'm loving Kim's blouse. Thank you, Raven, for that.
I'm loving it too.
Yeah, it's Allison Olivia, and it's like the Rolling Stones. Hold on.
So hot. So hot.
Rolling Stones. So cool,
Take
right?
those boobies out. No, I'm kidding.
I got no bra on, baby. This is thanks to Dr. Dubrow.
Oh, you're definitely going to have a man by the end of tonight's dinner.
Dr. Dubrow, honey. He did such a beautiful job. Yeah, so
who did? Oh, Dr. Dubrow, that's right. I remember that.
He did my boobs. I did botched. Yeah, he did it.
I remember that. Okay, good.
Yeah. You know what I told man? I said, you don't have to see me naked. Just watch botched. I full blown naked.
You can see my tits on there.
You could go take a look, honey. I still look the same. Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, this thing is prompting me to do something cool. What's this? Oh, cool. This is my referral link. Okay. We just got a referral link. You guys can share that link and make people come watch the show. How about them apples?
Okay. You're freezing a little bit, Dana. Okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So I just put a referral link in the thing. It's a new feature. I guess you can share our video and help us get people to watch it. They don't know what they're missing.
Coolest. We are the coolest.
We're the coolest. We're the cool moms.
That's it. Double D, Dana and D Payola.
Double D, literally. All right. So, yeah. So you were saying, you were talking about your boobs, the shirt. Okay.
Yeah. The
Where'd
shirt,
you get it?
Olivia, Rolling Stones. My boobs were done by Dr. Dubrow. If you'd like to watch my episode, it's unbotched. They treated me like a queen. They really.
Where did you get the shirt at Allison Olivia? Which one?
I actually got it on the Allison Olivia website. Yeah.
Okay, that's gorgeous. I want it too. I'll shut up.
I get all of her rocker tees. I wait for them to go on sale because they're ridiculous. But right now, a couple of them are on sale. You can look on Saks Fifth Avenue, you can look on Bloomingdale's, and you can look on Allison Olivia and see, who's doing a sale.
I love it. I'm wearing retro juicy couture. Can't get it.
Very nice. Very nice. You're looking good in that color. Love, love, love.
Can't get them anymore, guys. Can't get them anymore. All right.
We've seen a couple. Where do we buy? No, on Amazon. Where do we get ours? Amazon.
Retro, the original.
No,
oh my God, that was a huge find that you just said to me because I can't get them. I've been looking and looking, and the old juicy is not the old juicy.
Nice. The ones we got because we wanted to do our show together. We both got juicies over the holidays.
Well, I'm really like, I need more. I need more of them. Oh my God. Cause the new juicy, I don't like.
These were nice. These weren't bad. So anyway, Dana, I just feel like Porsha, she should worry more about the finances of her daughter. And like, if your baby daddy makes money, your daughter, it's better. So big deal. He was filming with Drew and she shouldn't have worried about it. But I think it's because she wants Drew back. She has a thing for him. It was
Dennis. She wants Dennis back. I don't think she wants to have sex with Drew.
Because it's unfinished business. It is unfinished business. When things end like that, it's unfinished business. They never finished what they started.
I feel like there's a lot of love there, but once a guy, cheats on you, forget it. Goodbye. Oh, God, see you later, buddy. Yeah. I was trying to find. You remember that interview that came out about Kathy? Just let's talk some New Jersey for a minute. Kathy came out and did an interview with Page Six, and she said that Melissa Gorga, like it wasn't true what Melissa Gorga.
I talked to Kathy. So I knew a year ago that Kathy, there was an event. It was a Franklin Lakes event where Richie and Kathy sit on the board, and Melissa and Joe, since they live in Franklin Lakes now, their kids go to the school. They were at this event. Melissa and Joe saw Kathy and Richie. Kathy and Richie did not see them. They did not walk up to them and say hello. The next day, Melissa texts Kathy and says, it's really sad that we're in the same room. We don't say hello, blah, blah, blah. I'd really like to get together. 4 days later, after that text, Kathy gets back to her and said, yeah, I would talk to you. We can talk. They go to Houston's and have lunch. This was a year ago. After they have lunch, Melissa says, can we do dinner? And Kathy says, I don't think so. Like, I'm glad we all got this on the table and all that, but I don't think dinner's in the cards. Kathy leaves, but Kathy does say to Melissa, do me a favor. I don't want to be on page 6. I don't want to be talked about. I don't want to be a storyline. Let's just keep this. Is a year ago. Okay. So Melissa's reasoning for doing this big graphic story on Jeff Lewis about my dream is to see Kathy and little Joey Gorga walking down the street and running into each other. No, it's not. That's not your dream because this situation already happened. Now, Melissa comes back, and of course, Margaret has her back to Melissa only said that because Kathy said that she didn't want her to talk about it. Well, listen, honey, that was a year ago. That was a year ago. So wait, the best part is this. Now, Dana, if you and I have a secret lunch and I say, do me a favor, don't make this a big deal right now. Oh, thank you. What she does all day.
Here's all the cool moms.
Right? So Melissa, if you're like normal, you say, I've spoken to Kathy, but she really asked me not to talk about it. So I'd prefer, but we have spoken. Not this big, elaborate story on how her dream is for the two of them to run into each other. What are you talking? If it's that easy to make up this crazy thing in your mind, like I said, she's the best liar I know. Even Kathy watched it back and was like, her eyes were popping out her head going, wow, she's good. Like she's good at what she does. Yeah. But her big thing is I kept the secret and I'm a woman's woman. That's not what happened, Melissa. This was a year later. And all you had to say to Jeff was we did speak, but Kathy would appreciate if I kept it to myself. Not this big elaborate story. What did she get? What did they get?
Oh, I heard some insider tea on it. I got some tea. You want me to tell you what I heard? You probably know, but let me tell you anyway.
Okay, they got Barbie's liner. My dogs just ruined it.
Oh, shoot. Bad doggies. Okay.
Yes.
So what I heard was that, Melissa, although she said all these really nice things and then publicly, the truth is that Joe was trying to get the lot that at Franklin Lake. So in other words, Kathy had this lot that she'd been dying for in that neighborhood.
Yes.
And she had made a deal with the people who had the lot because she knew them that she was going to buy it. Yep. And then they sell it or get rid of it. And Kathy's like, I'm here. Well, Joe Gorga tried to get that lot, even knowing Kathy wanted
Everybody wanted it. It's right on the lake. It's prime, beautiful property.
So,
which I'll be going there. So I'll share the video with on one of our lives as soon as it's done.
So Kathy was like, what are you trying to do? Like getting into my lot, it's that I wanted and have been talking to the guy for years and you're trying to poach it from me. Yep. And then Kathy thought secretly that maybe, Melissa wanted to come over to the house after it was built socially, maybe because of where it is. Cause it's in the prime, it's going to be the house.
The house.
Anyway, what do you guys think?
I'm going to have a video, the house, because I'm invited over when it's done. She has things being shipped in from Italy and oh my God.
I know. I'm so excited.
You know what? Kathy deserves it. She's a class act.
Yeah, Kathy, she's really cool.
She's a good friend. She's cool. And, she was just, I think she really found it funny that this was all brought up at this point. She was like, what? Because again, it's not about not bringing it up. It's the elaborate story you tell around it. You could either say nothing and say, you know what, Jeff, I have spoken to Kathy and she wants me to just but I would love for one day the cousins would run into each other. You did run into each other. And Joe didn't even walk up and say hello.
Joe Gorga didn't want to say hi.
You were at the same place. You were a pussy boy. You didn't want to go up to him and say hello. Now all of a sudden her dream, Melissa's dream. That doesn't have to be a dream, honey. You were in the same place at the same time. He could have walked up to her.
Oh, hold on. I got some tea sent to me. I've been waiting for.
Okay. She still has some of it. You could get in, Barbie. She's so funny.
Okay.
Folks are still chewing on her.
So, all right. next thing on the list.
Ooh.
Okay. I want to talk about, Dolores. How's she doing? Let's just, whatever you can say. I know you can say.
Dolores, listen to me. Kim has Teresa's brain skewered. I'm skewered? Okay, good.
That was an accident. I hit that because
let me tell you something. You have no idea what this brain can do and what this brain knows.
Oh my God, Kim, smart.
Money for this brain, a lot. All right. So
sorry about that. I meant to eat a blueberry.
What was the question? What was the question? I forgot.
All right. All right. The question is Dolores.
Oh, Dolores is doing great. Opportunities coming in like crazy. Major news going to be dropped soon. She is on fire.
I'm really happy for her.
And she deserves it. You're just going to, listen, I can't wait to drop her news.
I can't wait either. All right. So she has news, you guys. That's the tea. So we're not going to drop it yet.
Great. Dolores is doing great. Dolores is doing great.
All right. So now I want to talk about another thing I put on here. I want to get your opinion on this one, Kim. Lisa Vanderpump, all the cast of Vanderpump Rules coming for Lisa Vanderpump publicly, like, except the men, but all of them dragging her like crazy. And then the fact that she's been implicated in yet another sex guy problem.
Right.
So, like, I don't know if you guys know, but, there's the James Kennedy of it all. And then there was, of course, the Tom Sandoval of it all. Yeah. And then, although she didn't know about it, but still. Mm-hmm. And then there was the manager of Villa Rosa. The first season was like an abuser, and they didn't vet him properly.
Right.
So he was like, had a restraining order by his wife on him. And now this season, Villa Rosa season 2, there's a character called Mauricio. And it's now being alleged, even though he's been on season 1 too, that he's a sexual predator by the cast member from The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives that went on to Villa Rosa in France to shoot the show with her cast members.
I don't know why, you know what? Why is it Lisa's issue? Why is it Lisa's problem? Like,
she's casting it.
No, I don't think she casts it. I think she has people who cast for her and producers. Okay. I don't know. Listen, I have a direct link to Lisa Vanderpump. So can we get back the answer to that question?
I mean, she doesn't cast them.
She doesn't cast. She does not cast. We'll find out why maybe she'll get a new casting person. But if you look at all the shows, I mean, if you watched the first episode of,
so she didn't cast Stassi, or she did cast Stassi.
Stassi was a server at the restaurant, so she began like that, and then they did the pilot, and then that's how Vanderpump.
No.
But I'm talking about Villa Rosa.
Yeah. She was invited to that.
So she was casted by Lisa, but the regular people weren't.
Yeah, she was a guest. Mm-hmm.
Okay. No, I just meant, was she casted, like technically casted?
Was she technically casted?
Cast by Lisa to be on the show.
She plays the thief. No, I think she was. Of course.
I was going to say.
She's not going to do anything for free. Let's face it.
Oh, no. Plus, I mean, and Hulu's using it to advertise their shows. All the people going on season 2 are like shows on Hulu. So they're promoting it.
Right.
Yeah. She said she escaped from Bravo recently. She was being a little shady.
Yeah. And you know that Melissa's filming
Beverly Hills, I should say.
Melissa Gorga is filming Wife Swap this week.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know who she's swapping with, but you couldn't pay me to do that show.
And Teresa Giudice just made an appearance on a show, right? She wasn't actually doing another show in Florida.
She went to the party. She went to Taj's party. Birthday.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she's not on the show. Teresa Giudice isn't on any show right now. She's doing appearances and all that, but she is not signed to any shows right now.
Right. But Melissa's doing Wife Swap.
She's doing Wife Swap. The way I hear it, she got $125,000. But I also talked to an attorney about this. Now, remember when I dropped the 3 women that got letters? Okay, so do you notice how Melissa's working? Dolores is working. I don't know about Teresa's going to work. But you notice how the 2 people that I said that got letters are all of a sudden working now, and we're just waiting for Teresa. Do you hear what the other one's working yet? No. The other shows, no. And there's no.
That's what I thought. I actually said on my show, your gossip, I think, was related to other projects that Bravo wanted to hold them for. Yeah.
Okay.
And not New Jersey at all. Yeah.
Right. So I'll be proven right again. Okay. So even though I have a scattered.
Maybe Teresa got paid for Gia Giudice's show, and that's why they kept her on hold.
It's a hold. It's a hold letter. It's hold. But when you get something like wife swap, that hold money comes out of it. Meaning, if she got a house swap, a housewife swap, whatever the frig it's called. Let's say it's 125. Let's say they gave her 200 to hold her. That 125 comes up to 200.
Oh, cool. I get it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm just not going to go live in somebody else's house for a week. And I need the money a lot more than her. But that's not my gig. I'm not.
Well, they are casting I heard they're casting other family dynamic shows. So maybe you and Barbie could do one. That would be awesome.
Barbie and I could definitely do one. I love doing botch. I did it with Kristen. I did. And then all my friends flew out for the reveal. It was a lot of fun. But you know what? It takes a lot for me to leave my dogs. You know what I mean? It really does. It would take a lot. So.
Okay. I have what is your take is that Lisa Vanderpump is not involved with all this bad casting with these guys. And
I think there's a lot more bad casting on other ones too, that just aren't announced. There's a lot of scavengers on these shows, a lot. Yeah. And that's what Hollywood Demons was about. The first episode was about a guy who was exposing. He was on Seventh Heaven for like 10 years and they never knew. I mean, come on. If that can happen for a big show like that, it certainly can happen on a reality show. Let's face it.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Well, I'll tell you what, Demi's cast, oddly, did not stand by her side on this. What they did is they said that she was flirting with him. So they believe that Demi is saying this because she doesn't want her husband to find out that she was cheating on him anyway.
Hey, just like
this guy Mauricio, and he got kicked out of the Hulu party because of it.
That's terrible. You know, I see that's not good for the Me Too movement, like what Blake Lively did. Like they give the Me Too movement a bad name. You know what I mean? Because there's all these accusations that aren't true. I believe Blake Lively had a major crush on I believe it. Justin Baldoni. I believe that. And I believe the husband saw that. I do. That's guys, it's my opinion with my scattered brain. It's my opinion.
Well, I definitely think her relationship with Taylor Swift is over, which is really, truly the biggest punishment that you can do to anyone.
Damn, what's his face? Travis Kelce unfollowed Ryan Reynolds. I mean,
that's so badass.
You know it's over, honey. You know it's over. That is so funny. That is so funny.
All right. Well, we've got to wrap it up because we're over time now. But one last thing I just want to say is, how are you feeling about Sutton Strack at the moment coming out of the reunion? Garcelle, you know what happened. What do you think?
I think Garcelle is a big drama queen. I never liked her from day one.
Oh, wow. This is such a different opinion. Holy crap.
Never liked her from day one. Don't like Garcelle at all.
Okay.
I think that finally when Bose showed up, she put her in her place. And Garcelle couldn't take the heat, so she got out of the kitchen. It has nothing to do with her son's senior year. What senior boy wants to be with their mommy? I mean, let's face it. Okay. I mean, stop it already with this stupid excuse. Secondly, she was mad because Sutton, I think two things happened. I think Kyle went to Sutton and Garcelle, told her that she's gay. And can you please keep it under wraps? Because you all know what I'll keep. And they were like, okay. But then when it came out and Sutton sat, I'm not saying a word. I just put her back to her. I'm not going there. Also, when Bose was talking about Teresa's house, the robbery, and she goes, I'm sorry. There's Sutton. Because she goes, there's a lot more than me that thought that. Okay. Sutton never spoke up. So, would I unfollow her? Would I block her? I don't let people see me sweat, so I don't block. But I certainly would not call her a friend because clearly Sutton wants to be on the show more than she needs to be Garcelle's friend.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. And I think that was actually I also think that Garcelle was like, I'm not going to play out the demise of our friendship on this show. I just
Also, Garcelle didn't have anyone left.
Yeah.
She didn't really have anyone left. I mean, she wasn't going to, she played the race card one too many times. She, you know, there was nobody to have her back anymore. You know, no one was there to have her back. And I think she said, you know what, it's time for me to go, which was a smart move on her part.
I think so too. It was really smart.
It would have only gotten uglier the next season. It would have got uglier. So she walked away with, I don't know, I think she should have taken the picture and smiled in their face and said, see ya. You know, I think she could have done it, but I think her emotions were high. You know,
yeah, you're so tired and you're like, I don't want to be fake. I can't fake this. Pissed. Yeah.
So, you know,
she was pissed.
I'm just looking at what they're doing to my puppy. So no, my emotions don't get the best of me in the moment. You know, I think about it later. Like I'm like a coyote that like sits and waits and
you ponder.
And then at the end of it, after I take the picture and then I figure out, you know, then I get you back. You know, I mean, I have a lot of patience as I got older. I had no patience when I was younger. My patience now, as I'm older, is really, really wicked. Like it's really, I'm shocked at how much patience I have that I can just wait you out. You know, I could sit back and I take it and people think, oh, you know, she's not doing too much or whatever. But trust me, my time comes, you know, and like, even when they were like, oh, Kim's about the 3 letters and the money. She's a liar. She's a liar. She's a liar. And they're all the bloggers. Everybody came at me that I didn't know. Now, of course I knew. I know exactly what I wouldn't have said it. Okay. So it's all going to be proven. And I sit back and I laugh and I'm like, yeah, that's right. I'm a liar. I'm, you know, I have no brain. I'm a liar. I'm this and I'm the biggest liar. And then all of a sudden the lie turns into truth. So you know what? You guys can call me. Most of the people here, they love what we do and they tip us and they're
very, of course. Yeah, no,
always going to get some loser coming on and saying something stupid.
Well, just to say it, I don't want you to ever feel bad like that about bullshit. Okay. So like, let me just say this.
This is what I love. This is the loves of my life.
We have to do one more thing because I realized it's on the thumbnail. Dorit Kemsley's divorce. Okay. By the way, you guys, I disagree really quick with Kim on this one. I know we didn't do a lot of that on this show. We will next time. It's just, I had so much to cover with Hollywood Demons. But basically what I wanted you guys to know is I think Garcelle, I'm disappointed she's left the show. I do think that she couldn't believe Sutton betrayed her. Yes. I think that was at the depth of all of it, honest to gosh. There's rumors that Sutton is, you know, like, I can't even say it out here, but there's rumors that, you know, when Dorit says she flips a switch and she changes personality,
I love that.
A real thing. Okay. Read between the lines. It's like a real thing. And so, Garcelle, I think, was struggling with this and she had defended Sutton so much. She couldn't like take it anymore when Sutton threw her under the bus and Sutton was cuddling up for Kyle because she really wants to stay on the show. And Kyle is the key. And what can I tell you? Right. So but I think Garcelle at a certain point wanted to, you know, stay true to her character. And she felt like she was being authentic and she was telling the truth the whole time. And that's her job.
Oh, I believe it. I believe Garcelle was telling the truth.
And so she just couldn't believe that Sutton didn't go along with that. And she's supposed to be loyal to Kyle. And that really bothered Garcelle.
I get it. She had every right to be bothered by that. Yeah. Absolutely. But I think Bose is the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Well, there's that. And then Dorit Kemsley, what happened with her, the divorce, PK goes out with the girl, you know, from that reality show from a million years ago. She's cool, out of New York. What's your take on her and the Dorit thing and all that?
I heard, okay. I don't know how to say Anna's last name. Concacos or I like her so much. I wish I could say her.
Who is it?
Anna. I can't.
What does she do for a living? Sounds like
housewife. Now she said, and she's a lawyer too. She said that PK, she thinks PK took those pictures with the girl kissing because it was not 10 years yet.
No, it is 10 years. It's past 10 years.
She said it was nine something years.
No,
I'm sure it could be. Listen, but that he wanted her to file, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Oh no, he wanted her to file. He did that for the girl. I have a different take. I know that he wanted. Dorit said, if I see you in one public picture, she said this publicly, with another woman, like macking out.
It's okay for him to be with another woman. Just don't take it public.
It's over. She said it's over.
Oh, you think it should have been over before? I mean.
No, but she was going to hang in there because there's a lot of drama in their finances and everything else. Okay. So she was going to hang in there. But then what happened was he did what she said, and he did it on purpose. And she knew he did it on purpose.
I knew he did it on purpose.
And he did it with this girl to say, I'm really into you. And I'm really leaving Dorit, and it's really over.
Yeah, she's a piece of garbage. That girl's a piece of garbage for doing
Why? She's not.
Yes, she is.
Why?
She's garbage because why? Because why do you have to be a peacock? Why do you have to do that? You have to prove something to somebody. She's a piece of, I'm sorry, piece of garbage. We can agree to disagree, Dana.
Listen, I think PK said to her, I want to do it. Let's do it. And she went with it. But she's actually kind of an interesting chick. I mean, I think I'm not going to, I'll say this. She's a lot like Dorit was when he met Dorit. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm going to say.
Okay, that's fine. But, I might not have liked what Dorit did either. Like, listen, when I was with Michael for 13 years, he was separated for 2 years when I met him. And then he got divorced the first year. Okay. I was not a peacock when it came to his 3 adult kids. I didn't need to be here or need to be there. I knew where I stood. Okay. If you have to ask the person, your significant other, to make these kind of moves to prove where you are, that doesn't say much about your character. Again, that's my opinion. That's who I am. I don't need to be making out on the street with a guy who's been separated and the show is on.
But I mean, who cares? Dorit and him are together.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It does. He can do
whatever. Why should I control my urge to kiss my man? Because Dorit is, over here doing. No,
you're saying she wanted the picture. Well, the picture.
Well, no, I think PK wanted to show her that he was full in with her and out of Dorit.
I get that.
So it was a stunt for him to show her. I don't think she wanted the picture. I think he wanted it.
But he made it very clear on the show he wanted nothing to do with Dorit. He made it so clear so many times, but she's a bang your head against the wall. And on the reunion, Dorit's my favorite out of everyone. Okay.
I know you love Dorit.
I love Dorit. I was sickened when she kept saying how she still madly in love. Her heart was like, shut up, put your big girl pants on. Stop putting your heart on your sleeve about a man who doesn't give 2 shits about you and wants you out of his life. Mm. You know what I'm saying? So I'm different. I don't want to wear my heart on my sleeve for a man who doesn't want me, for a man who's cheating on me, for a man who's probably been cheating on me for the past year and a half, who's away 30, 40 years. Stop it. All you women out there who are getting one loser after another, that are taking your money, that are cheating on you while you were pregnant, that are making out with other women on the street, and you're there professing your love on international TV. Oh my God. And no, don't. What are you doing? Look in the mirror and have some integrity. No man is worth it. Nobody is worth that. Nobody.
Well, I think part of it is as you're growing up and you're trying to establish yourself. And I think a lot of women don't believe they can establish themselves without a powerful guy. And that's the truth. And then they figure out that they're selling their soul for that power. And then they come out of it and they, become a strong woman and their own powerhouse. And that's fabulous.
So for her.
I think. I'll tell you what, all my friends that married wealthy guys, they ended up losing all the shit they built because of them, including me. So take it from me and my model friends up the door from LA, they all ended up getting screwed by.
Take it from me, I was never screwed.
No, you weren't.
I screwed. They didn't screw me. So, and I have a man's brain. Okay.
There you have it. And I have a girl's brain.
I have a man's brain. So when I tell you women something, you could take it to the bank, because I'm a woman who loves men, but I have a man's brain. I did botched. I took a 500-page questionnaire, 500 questions. The psychiatrist said he had never seen anything like it. He's a top psychiatrist for the E! Channel. And I said, I bet you didn't. He goes, I wonder if you're going to be surprised. I said, I probably wouldn't be. He goes, you answered every question like a man. I said, thank you.
Well, that's really, I mean, I hope it's interesting that New Jersey's like Beverly Hills, though, that women try to meet wealthy guys and get set up, and you know, it's very interesting. It's such a false. I guess maybe that's why I get pissed at Beverly Hills so much, is this idea that they're selling something that is really toxic in the end. You know, like it's getting girls to be like, yeah, I want to be like that. And it's not real. Like it just they all fall apart. Like it's so sad. I would love a show about a bunch of rich women looking for men that don't want to like give up anything for the men.
Not looking for
that show.
How about a bunch of rich women not looking for men? Wouldn't we like
that too? That too. Great.
Like, I'm not looking for it. If it falls in my lap, that's one thing. But I have a very full, fabulous life. I don't fucking need a man coming in here and telling me, could you imagine a guy coming in here and telling me you can't have this dog or you can't have that many dogs?
Well, that's the drama. So the drama of the show will be like, it's like Shark Tank otherwise, you know?
Oh, okay.
So I'm saying we need a little drama. So I like, Kim, you want a dating show?
Never happened. Never happened.
Have that happen.
Follow my life, because my life is fun, and it's, you know, and it shows a woman how you don't need a man, but you could. I have many men who flirt. Barbie's right here. Do I have many men calling me, asking me out? And Barbie goes, why can't you go out? I'm busy this day. I'm busy that. And they're prominent men, judges, lawyers.
Oh my God, please date a judge.
Yeah, you know, no.
That's so badass mob wife shit.
Badass mofos, you know. But you know what? When the right one comes along, you know, as long as they're going to go along with my life, that's fine. But you're not going to go along with my life. I'm not. Not happening. Just not happening.
I love it. Well, your man is right next to you, and he's super.
This is my girl. This is Chloe.
Oh, girl.
My man. I'll show. Bring my man. Here's my man. This is Luca.
You guys, that noise is the plumber cutting my bathroom. He couldn't wait anymore. He was holding an hour.
Okay, this is my Luca. This is my new baby. This is my Luca. This is my new man. All right. So with that said,
oh my God, stop the face. Oh my God, I would just.
Is this Luca Brazzi di Paola?
He's Italian.
Yes, he is.
All right, you guys.
Right, baby dolls. Bye. I love you.
Like, subscribe. Love you, Camille. I'll miss you till our next one. Bye, guys. Have a great day. Bye. Bye.